The United States and have a quick chat with Paul Duttridge. He's the host of the Politics People podcast. Trump is still leading in the polls despite his guilty verdict, with the House Speaker saying that the Supreme Court should overturn the Trump verdict. Joining me now is Paul Duttridge. Paul Duttridge, talk me through what's been going on. What's been going on there? I mean, he's been found guilty. What's next?
Well, we've gone from Banana Republic to full fruit salad this week. It's good to see show trials making a comeback. What we've had, obviously, everybody knows now Trump he's a convicted felon, apparently. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, has already laid his cards on the table and said that the Supreme Court should and probably would and will overturn this conviction ultimately. It's got to go through all the appeals. We have to wait till sentencing on July the 11th. Doesn't look like he's going to get a prison sentence. He's going to be 78 years old. First offence by the time July the 11th comes around. And Judge Merchant has actually said in the proceedings leading up to this, he didn't want to interfere with the campaign. And so it's unlikely that Trump is actually going to see the inside of a cell. However, the sentencing, I think, will be everything up to the point of actual incarceration. But for Mike Johnson, who is Speaker of the House, and, you know, there's supposed to be the separation of powers in the United States, for him to come out so overtly and say the Supreme Court should overturn this, because look, this is an election, a federal election being interfered with at a local, I mean, a very local level on an accounting anomaly. And so that really does trigger a lot of fears among the federal powers in this country. And so it's great that Mike Johnson is speaking out so overtly on this.
Well, it is important because once the floodgates have opened, let's just say that Trump does win the next election. For those who have done this to him, there will be wrath, there will be response. Surely he won't be happy with it. So I think obviously it's in their interest to ensure that he doesn't win, because it does feel, just from observing here in the UK, that there's something very odd going on.
There's something very odd going on. And look, the one can of worms that they really have overlooked is like, OK, well, now we can prosecute former presidents. And there are living former presidents. And if let's say Trump doesn't win, I still think he's got a real problem. I don't think he can, but that's nothing to do with this case. You're still going to end up with a MAGA Republican Party and probably a MAGA Congress, and they will be prosecuting former presidents. And that's not just Biden, that's Obama and anybody. You can pick apart absolutely anybody's history in this country. Famously, you know, if you put a stamp on a letter and send it, it's a federal offense in this country. So it's not difficult when you have a witch hunt to find a witch.
Well, listen, Paul Duttridge, apologies, it's short and sweet, but thank you very much. That's Paul Duttridge, host of the Politics People podcast.